So this is not the rarest snake in the world. In fact, whilst not really that commonly kept now in the UK, this isn't rare at all. And it's pretty much the natural colour of this species. Ooh, watch it you. So very, very pretty snake, but not the subject of this video. And yet it almost is. So this is a hatchling from 2024. Let me show you its mum to see if you can guess or have any clue to what this unknown species actually is. Okay, so this is the mum of that snake you just saw. Natural colour as it would appear in the wild. My favourite kind of snakes, to be honest. Watch it you. You're like your daughter. Look at that. So darkened down, it's a species that darkens with age. But look at that, beautiful, beautiful animal. Really, really lovely. Absolutely stunning. Look at that. Anyway, of course, again, being the mother of that snake, it obviously isn't anything particularly rare or unusual. So let me show you, oh God, the iridescence on this thing's ventral scales. I don't know if they'll come out on camera. Look at that. Wow, what a beautiful species. So let me show you, if you like, the boyfriend of this snake and the father of that young one, the snake in question. So here he is. His name's Dakota. He's mature. He's exactly 5 feet long. And what a wonderful, wonderful snake he is. The only thing is, I prefer natural morphs of snakes, really. I'm not really a morph guy into colour morphs. But I got this guy as an adult from the local reptile shop. It was already called Dakota. And he looked nothing like this. Nothing like this whatsoever. And that's what has sparked social media experts not to just say, I don't know if I believe what you're telling me, Dave, but to actually call me a liar, an idiot, someone advertising the snake on social media as some kind of sales thing, even though it wasn't for sale. Look at this. So let me explain Dakota's story. Because, of course, people that know me, as well as reptile keeping zoologists, zookeepers, they're not as stupid as, of course, all the self-made experts on social media that are actually, I don't know, closed-minded. So for me, reptile keeping, do you know what, scrub that, studying the natural world, what I find passionate and fascinating and just awe-inspiring is you never stop learning, and you never could. There's just so many discoveries to make, whether you study them wild or keep things in captivity, breed things, work with them, so on and so forth. This guy here, just like the previous two, is a black rat snake, an American black rat snake, a colour morph without pigment, almost pigmentless. But look at him now. Hang on, people said, oh no, he's a calico, blah, blah, blah. Look at these lovely patterns. He never had those until this summer. And let me explain why he was posted on social media in the first place. Because something happened this summer to him that I found so fascinating. I wanted to share it with the wider reptile keeping community, and I wanted to know if anyone had actually experienced a similar thing. So this guy, without really any pigment, was placed outside in one of my large natural enclosures for the summer on display to the public. Stupid. What an idiot. Kept under artificial lighting all his life for several years. A snake with no pigment was placed outside under the full effects of the sunshine. Now, a British climate, but of course we do get sunny days in summer. Nothing but a wire mesh roof, so full natural light. Of course, he had a deep rock pile to hide in, a huge pond to swim in. He could escape that sunlight, but why would he? Why would he? He's programmed to sunbathe. And someone said to me, well, if he hurt himself sunbathing, if a reptile burnt itself on a heat lamp, it'd only do it once. These people know nothing about reptile keeping, and yet they spout stuff like it's their knowledge and gospel. A snake will burn itself on a heat lamp if it wants to warm up, and then it'll burn itself again on the heat lamp if it wants to warm up. It just doesn't understand those burns. It understands the need to warm up and sunbathe. So there he was, exhibiting the best natural behaviour he's ever done in his life, coming out in the morning sunshine, going in if it gets too hot, coming back out again when he wants to warm up through the day, thermoregulating. What an idiot am I. He started to develop sort of brown sort of patches all the way down his back. I actually thought it was from the sand in his hibernaculum where he'd been going down and squeezing down under the rocks and just sort of getting dirt on his back. No. Damage, sunburn, terrible sunburn, all along his back. When he shed his skin, the skin stuck on all those sort of wounds. So we took him out when I realised there's something wrong. We soaked him, and sure enough, massive areas of sunburn, deep, we're talking scarring, deep sunburn, down his back. So of course he was brought back inside, actually in a rack system with no extra lighting at all, and just to let him convalesce. He shed a couple of times since, and he's now pretty much, well, he is fully healed. But here's the weird thing that no one seems to believe amongst the Facebook experts. He changed colour. All of these spotty pigments here, which, would you believe, look just like human freckles, all of these have appeared since he got that sunburn, just in the last, maybe now 3 months. Totally different colour. Have a look at him now on the screen, how he's been all of his life, the colour he's been all of his life. And now, look at him now. He's changed. People on social media didn't want to learn this interesting behaviour. They didn't even want to believe this interest. I'm sharing information because I found it fascinating. Not only had none of them had anything similar, they wanted evidence. They wanted proof. So I gave them proof as best as I could for the photos I took. I haven't documented this. I didn't know it was going to be that unusual, but I've got some documentary evidence. No, everyone insisted I was putting on 2 different snakes with some kind of wind-up. So I found the only intermediate photo I've got, just when he started to change as he was healing. And I was told that was 3 different snakes I was posting. Why would I be doing that? I have no idea. If you know me, you know. But this guy has changed colour. I'll show you in a little while. Actually, his scarring closer up as it is now. And you can see actually around the scarring, the pigment is much more prevalent. Absolutely fascinating. But when you think about it, it's not that fascinating with hindsight, the beauty of hindsight. Pigs, white pigs, suffer terribly from sunburn, and if they don't have a mud wallow, it can really damage them and hurt their skin. If you keep pigs and they're the white form, the everyday form, they need a muddy wallow and they need somewhere to shelter from the sunshine itself. Look at that. Fair-skinned people that are not exposed to the sun and then go on a foreign holiday, certainly from Britain, burn terribly. And once they've burnt terribly, their little freckly skins freckle up like mad, especially around those areas of sunburn. Those freckles become prevalent. It's the body's way, a body that lacks much melanin, producing some pigment to protect itself from future burning. I suggested that. These social media, Facebook snake experts said, what a stupid analogy, comparing this snake's freckling up after sunburn to a human doing the same. Why? Pigmentless skin doing the only thing it can to protect itself from future damage the same. This snake has changed massively, purely from sunburn. And then someone said, Those scars, they're not sunburn. That must be from some sort of electrical heat lamp. You've abused your snake and not housed it correctly, which kind of ironically I have by accident, but not in that form. I've actually known people. I know a girl that burnt parts of her body that had never seen the sun before and suffered exactly the same incredibly deep burning scars. Ultraviolet is massively damaging if you disrespect it, that's for sure. If you actually look along his side here, look at the side here, where obviously he's not freckled as much because the back burn, he didn't lay on his side. Look along his side here, and I think you'll agree with me. It's exactly the same snake that he always was. Look at that. So don't we live in strange times where you try and share interesting information that you've discovered by chance, and people don't only not believe you, they call you names, they call you a liar, they disrespect you en masse. How crazy. So hopefully those of you that have a brain, which I think is probably most of you that watch this channel, hopefully guys, this has been something very, very interesting. So I spoke to some experts. I spoke to the fantastic guy called Adam, who supplied my Eastern Indigo snake this year, who is a zookeeper, a working zookeeper, and he keeps and studies reptiles for his job, his career. Far more expert and knowledgeable than myself by miles. And he said, Dave, I've never seen that exact thing, but I've seen similar damage on scaleless snakes exposed to too much UV lighting, as well as things like leatherback bearded dragons that don't have the same scalation. He said scales are not just physical protection, but they actually protect these animals from over exposure to UV light in the same way that pigment does. So sometimes animals that do have pigment but don't have scales also get badly affected. Mark Habban, of course, a very well-known zookeeper, he kind of vouched for me on the Big Columbridge Snake group. Ironically, that's my group, but still people on there had stupid comments. Look at that. And for those of you that haven't been around as long as me, back in the day when people were discovering that certainly lizards were really struggling from calcium deficiencies because they weren't given correct ultraviolet radiation in their lighting, in their indoor lighting, they started experimenting with black lights. I know people even took black lights outside of nightclub lighting. Some of those lights had massive amounts of UV, way unbalanced, and people were keeping things like green lizards, European green lizards, they struggled to keep long term in artificial lighting for the lack of UV, and they started experimenting with makeshift UV lighting, and those green lizards actually suffered from skin cancers over time. So it's certainly ultraviolet might be important for some of our reptiles, but the right amount, massively important. And exposing an adult animal that's never had excessive UV with a pigmentless skin to the natural radiation of the sunlight has turned out to be not only incredibly damaging for this snake, he's recovered, but it's produced this strange phenomenon, which, like I say, with hindsight, probably not hard to imagine. He's deeply freckled up. He's got deep scarring, which is almost gone now, but I'll show you some footage now. Hopefully fascinating. But let's just look at some of that other footage and talk you through those intermediate stages. Also, have a look at some of the videos of the outdoor enclosures. You'll see him in there. And the setup that we're actually talking about.